Here in the last video we have studied about the vegetative character, habit and habitats of the bryophytes. Then in this video here we started with the sexual reproduction in case of bryophytes. As far as the sexual reproduction in case of bryophytes are simply having two generations, gametophytic generation and sporophytic generation. The both generations are alternate with each other, and these generations are simply alternate with each other. And in case of these generations, the gametophytic generation is more prominent generation than sporophytic generation. Sporophytic generation is depend on the gametophytic generation for the nutrition. Then as far as the two generations are concerned, these generations are only occur because of the sexual reproduction takes place in the bryophytes. Last time we studied about the vegetative reproduction. In case of vegetative reproduction, we know that there are four methods: adventitious root for branches formation, tuber formation. Then there is a death and decay in the thallus, that is simply called as fragmentation. And in case of this vegetative reproduction, there is a jelly formation and sometimes persistent growing up icicles. These are the some mode of vegetative reproduction. And then as far as the sexual reproduction takes place with the help of development of well-developed two sex organs, that is called as antheridia and archegonia. Both sex organs are well-developed sex organs, and in case of bryophytes, sexual reproduction is a homogamous type of reproduction, and sex organs are well-developed. They are commonly called as antheridia and archegonia, and the shape, size and structures are generally or mostly common, or having this mostly common in case of bryophytes. Then as far as the two well-developed structures, both are present on the dorsal surface of thallus. Sometimes it is embedded in the thallus tissue, or sometimes they are outside the dorsal surface in some plants. Then as far as these two sex organs are there, the male sex organ is called as antheridium, and it is having a particular structure, well-developed structure, multicellular organ, and it is simply a globular body with a small multicellular stalk and differentiated into stalk and a globular body, and it is sometimes embedded inside the thallus tissue in the anterior cavity, or sometimes it is not in the cavity, directly embedded in the gametophytic tissue. Then as far as this antheridia is concerned, the multicellular stalk and a multicellular body is there. The body is differentiated into a single layered sterile jacket, and at the center a mass of cubical cells are present. It is called as a androcytes. This mass of cells, cubical cells are there. These are the reproductive cells, and simply after some changes at the time of maturity of this antheridium, these androcytes, the cubical cells, are simply metamorphosed, and it is simply resulted into a sickle-shaped, biflagellated gamete or male gamete structure. It is simply called as an antherozoid. The antherozoids are named as a male gamete or sperms also. It is also called as sperm, male gamete, or sometimes a antherozoids. These are the some structures developed here in the male, or some changes are present in the male structure. Then as far as the female sex organ is concerned, the female sex organ in the bryophytes are commonly called as archegonium, and this archegonium is simply a typical conical flask-shaped structure, or mostly common in all bryophytes. The structure, size and shape of that archegonium is common in all bryophytes. It is mostly a conical flask-shaped structure, and simply it contains a broad globular venter and a slender narrow neck at the tip of the venter. Then in case of this venter, venter differentiated, or it contains two cells differentiated as the large multicellular basal cell is called as egg, and the upper cell, the small cell is there, it is called as venter canal cell, or it is also called as a neck. Then venter canal cell, or it is also called as a VCC. And in case of neck, there are 4 to 6 specialized cells are present in the neck canal, called as a neck canal cells. And at the tip of this neck, there are 4 lead cells are there, or it is also called as a cover cells. Then this is the conical flask-shaped structure. In case of bryophytes, the sexual reproduction takes place only in presence of water. This is the most important factor in case of bryophyte, that is in presence of water only the reproduction takes place. At the time of reproduction. This androcyte metamorphosis it produces the anthrozoid. After disintegration of that jacket, all these androcytes developed, which are exerted or released outside the antheridium, and they are simply swim on the dorsal surface of thallus. And at the same time, at the time of maturity in archegonium, all the neck canal cells, the ventral canal cell disintegrate, and it produces some fluid-like structure called as a mucilage in the neck. And this mucilage is having a particular type of attraction that is called as chemostatic attraction, and due to that, these sperms are attracted towards the neck of archegonium, and then they enter in the archegonial neck, and lastly it reach to the female gamete that is called as egg, and then fertilization takes place. This is about the sexual reproduction in case of the bryophytes.